Thank you, Chief Justice.
Chief Justice, and I'm not even Spanish.
Nice.
Our guest speaker this evening is Holley Walker. Holley Walker is a charter member of the Jayville Toastmasters. She is the Vice President of Public Relations for Jayville. Holley will be presenting Project 4 from the Advanced Manual Storytelling for 6 to 8 minutes. The title of her speech is Libby and Her Angel. Holley Walker.
While sitting in her room one early November evening, Libby began to meditate. She began to think very hard about something that she wanted very much. That something was a little girl. She'd already had 2 other boys and a girl, and a much older son. That would make 3 boys and a girl. In her meditation, Libby began to feel herself whisked away, and she was suddenly in the Hillsboro Funland Drive-In, and there was this big screen. She saw somebody up in the project booth, the projection booth, and she walked up there, and a man just simply pointed to the screen where she looked. She turned her head to see. On that screen was a beautiful baby girl with the date over her head, May 24th, 1975. This baby was very vivid. She could see the facial features and everything. The baby was in a christening gown. And then just as quickly as it started, she was whisked away back into her bedroom. Now, you may call this a dream. Libby called this a vision. A few weeks later, Libby was talking to her friend. They had gone to the carnival, and they were taking their sons, their young sons, to go hang out at the carnival for a couple of hours. And they began talking about children and wanting children. And the fact that Libby, she had a vision. She had a dream. She had something that she wanted very desperately. She couldn't have any more kids of her own. So she shared this vision with her friend. And they began talking and not paying attention to where they were going. And they ended up being in a place where they didn't recognize. They were no longer on the fairway. Instead, they were surrounded by campers and motorhomes and what looked like converted bread trucks. And they looked down the end of the aisle, and Libby says, "Oh my gosh." And her friend's thinking, "What?" She says, "Well, God answers prayer." And her friend goes, "What?" Right there, that young man, holding my daughter. And her friend goes, "You've got to be joking." She says, "No, come on, let's go take a look." So they walk down to this young man holding this little baby. And Libby, it starts a conversation with him. "What a beautiful little baby you have. What's her name?" "Her name is Angel." Libby says, "Well, that's a very fitting name for such a beautiful young lady." And they begin talking and having the conversation, and Libby finally says, "If you ever need a babysitter, you let me know. I'd be more than happy to babysit. I've got children of my own, a little girl, 3 little boys. Be more than happy to babysit." 1975, apparently this was okay practice. The young man says, "Well, you have to wait till my girlfriend comes back. That's the mom, and she makes the decisions." So Carla comes over, that's the girlfriend's name, and says, "Hi, nice to meet you," and kind of looked at Libby and was thinking, "This lady, why is she here? Why is she talking? She looks like somebody who should be attending the carnival, not hanging out in these neck of the woods." And they had the same conversation. Libby gives her name and number and says, "If you need anything, give me a call." She goes, "Well, we use a service. We use a service because that's part of the contract for being one of the Connie workers." And then time passes. They leave, change name and numbers, everything is great. Libby smiles from ear to ear. She's excited because she knows she's finally seen the baby in the vision. She thinks, "Oh, this is going to be great. God answers prayer." So she tells her friend, she goes to her neighbor's house and starts telling her neighbor the same exact story. And the neighbor says, "You're not going to believe this, but I happen to know somebody who babysits for this carnival service." And without a second glance or a second chance, they hop in the car. And they go from Clearwater to Sarasota. A couple-hour drive, just took a minute or two. And they knock on this lady's door who's supposed to be babysitting, not knowing whether or not the prodigal child, so to speak, is going to be there or not. But the neighbor and the babysitter lady, they begin to talk, and Libby's doing this. She's a rather tall woman, looking around, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she pushes the babysitter lady away and goes running into the home and scoops up Angel off the floor. Angel, you see, was sitting underneath a rocking chair that two little boys were rocking on. And she's being rocked on as well. So she holds Angel for a little while. Tells the lady, Carla and Robbie, they got my number. I'm just going to take her from here. We're going to Clearwater. Let them know where she is. Again, apparently this was okay practice in 1975. A few hours later, Carla calls up Libby, have a conversation. Carla says, I really can't get up there. We're kind of doing our thing. We're doing the party thing, doing our show. Can you watch her for a little while longer? Well, sure, Libby says. She had the idea that she'd maybe be watching her for a lot longer. And the date that Carla gave her was, I can get there, but I can't get there until May 24th. Libby says, well, that's going to be okay by me. On that day, Carla didn't show. Instead, she gave a phone call. We're stuck. Can you watch her for one more month? Absolutely, we can watch Angel for one more month. That's not going to be a problem at all. 1 month passes very quickly, and Carla comes and gets Angel, and they leave. Before they leave, though, Libby says, if there's anything at all you need, wherever you are, you let us know. Carla says, okay. About 2 weeks later, a phone call comes in the middle of the night in August. Carla says, Angel's sick. We don't have any money. We don't know what to do. Libby says, where are you? We're in Virginia. No problem. We'll be there on Friday. 900 miles later, 16 hours worth of driving, Libby and her family go to Virginia to see Carla. Libby and Carla have a side conversation. We decide what might be best for Angel, what might be in her best interest. Carla says, pretty good with her. I've had her 2 weeks and she's sick. She wasn't sick when I got her. So they decide. In that very moment, Libby got her Angel. Now you may be wondering what's happening now with Libby and her Angel. Well, I can tell you this. Libby is now the angel in heaven, looking upon me, sharing with you our story.